So if you've followed my channel for any amount of time, you're pretty familiar with this space. It's my office, it's my studio, and the lighting in here sucks! Just 3 little LED lights on a fan, and it's pretty terrible for filming. When I film small stuff on my desk, I do have these lights that can shine down and illuminate what I'm working on here. But that kind of sucks too. So I was out hunting for deals at garage sales, and I came across these awesome LED lights. So I was out garage selling this weekend hunting for some deals, and I found these awesome LED lights. You can aim them, you can change their brightness and temperature, and they're super easy to install. They almost go in like a remodel box. You just click them in. We're going to take power from here and put in 4 new lights in here. It's going to be awesome. Okay. So first thing to do is figure out where we're going to put these things. So I'm going to place the first one just kind of willy-nilly, and then I'll match the other 4 based on that location so that they all look even. So I kind of, on this side of the room, I want them more over my desk and not behind my head, so they won't cast any shadows on what I'm working on the desk. And you also need a stud finder, so you can figure out where the ceiling joists are, because you don't want to cut through and then figure out that the light doesn't fit because you're running into a joist. You do want to, well, I know that there's a joist right here because this seam is failing, and well, it failed a while ago and somebody caulked it. So I know that there's going to be one there, and yes, confirmed, there's a joist right there. And then there's going to be another joist 16 inches away from that. It's having trouble reading through that acoustic because it's not able to make good contact. But there's the other one. So we're going to follow this joist on a couple feet off the wall. And I'm going to put it kind of next to this joist, not super close, not crazy tight, but I'll show you. So the way that these lights work, you wire up this box with your regular wiring and wiring harness, and this is where the dimmer switch is. That controls the temperature. It's not really a dimmer switch, it just changes the temperature of the light. And then this plug just plugs into the light. So you need to mount this. It's got keyholes on the back. You're supposed to mount this on the joist. So you want it close enough, you want the hole in the ceiling close enough to the joist that you're able to mount this securely and then still be able to plug that in. Sorry, it goes this way. That makes sense. So it's like that when you're done. So yeah, pretty much anywhere in that stud bay, but closer rather than farther away to that ceiling joist. So that's what we're aiming for. I don't have a hole saw that is big enough for that circle. These ones are pretty big, 5 3/8 wide. That's a huge hole saw, and I'm not going to go spend $30 on a hole saw just to cut a couple holes, because I have a whole kit, but you can use whatever you have. So these ones are pretty big. These can lights are 5 3/8 wide. It's pretty big for a can light. I usually see smaller ones, and like a 4.5 inch hole saw would get it done usually, but these are too big for anything I have in my kit. So we're just going to cut it with a saw. You can either use a keyhole saw, which is a regular drywall saw, which I cannot find mine anywhere. I don't know where it went. So we're going to use my oscillating tool, or a flush cutter, or trim cutter, or whatever you want to call it. It's this little guy, and it's really great for cutting drywall. So to get the size, these come with this little foam ring that goes around it. I'm just going to take that off, trace the inside of this circle, know how big that is. I can get my placement right, and that's what we'll cut it. Whew! I made a mess. So these little springs are in the way, so we'll just cut those out a little bit. Yes, number 2. It's good. So we're not going to do it yet, but when it comes to install them, they have these little clips. So you just shove those in first, get those up, shove it into the hole, and then it grabs onto the drywall right there, and it's in. That's all it takes. We're gonna get the other 3 holes cut, and then we'll start running some wire. So this room is 10 by 14. It's 10 this way, and it's 14 this way. And the way that this house is built, this wall over here, with all of my little characters on it, this is the load-bearing wall. It's the middle of the house. So it makes a lot of sense for the joists to be going this way, but they're not. I've been up in the attic a lot too. I've worked a lot on this house. The joists are running the long way, the 14-foot way, which is super weird. And I got crazy lucky that I hit that hole right in the middle of the joist, in like the middle of the bay between the 2 joists. So this seam right here is the drywall going the other direction. There's a joist here that goes that way, and there's a joist here that goes that way. Because I went to the other hole and I was like, oh, where's the stud? Could not find it with my stud finder. And he was having problems because of the acoustic texture, but yeah, got super lucky. So it was really weird. Just stuff you run into. So now I'm on the second hole, and coming off the wall this way, it doesn't matter. I can put it anywhere I want on this side of the room. But I want it to come, I measured, the first hole I did was 30 inches away from the wall. So I'm going to come, again, 30 inches away and put it right there. But this distance, I can just put it anywhere. I lost my pencil! So, same thing as before, we're going to just take this little foam piece, trace it. You've got, it's about 3/4 to an inch of play on that trim all the way around. So, you've got room to mess it up and make it ugly, and then the trim hides it all. It's no big deal. Where'd my mark go? We're going to go right there. That's good. The only tricky thing about using this foam piece as a template is that it's very flexible, so it's easy to place it on the ceiling and not have it be a circle. So this one, so 62 inches from this wall over, that's where the third hole is going to go. And I'm going to try and make it 30, close to 30, coming off that other wall, but there might be a joist in my way. We'll have to go over there and see. So, yeah, it turns out there's a joist right there at my 30-inch mark, so we're going to come 32 inches over and set these lights in. So it's going to be 2 inches different from side to side, but nobody's going to even tell. Nobody's even going to come up here except for me, so it's my office. I can do what I want. Now I've gone and lost the template. What the heck? Where's all my stuff? There it is. Yeah, and I'm sure there's instructions for these lights somewhere, but I bought them at a garage sale, so there were no instructions in the box. So we're just going to wing it. Alright, that's all 4 holes done. The other one's over there behind the light. So the next thing to do is to run the wire, and we're going to hook up all these boxes. So my whole house is on 20 amp breakers. It's a really old breaker panel with aluminum wiring in most of it. So we're going to use 12-2 just because that's what you're supposed to do on a 20 amp breaker. It's not really necessary on lighting. A lot of times I've seen, I don't know if this was an electrician that did this or some other guy, but when I remodel a bathroom or a kitchen or something, a lot of times I see 14-2 run on the lights, and then they'll run 12-2 on the outlets and everything, because you're never going to pull 20 amps out of a light, like ever. So it's cheaper to buy the 14 gauge wire. So I've got all my electrical tools here. You're going to need some wire nuts, probably some of these guys. No. You need some screws, some pliers and wire strippers, voltage meter if you need it, even though the power should be off. Let's run some wire. Alright, after a few minutes in the attic, I got all the wires ran. I tried to do it without going up there, but there's just too much crap in the way. So whatever, a few minutes of sweat and you're good to go. So this is the last light in the line, that's why there's only one wire. It's the end of the line for that. So the first thing you're going to do, this box has these little knockouts. So you're going to get that out of there with a screwdriver or a pair of pliers, whatever you got. That slot is for a slotted screwdriver. Just stick your screwdriver in there, and bend it backwards, and then just work that back and forth till it breaks off. And then this particular brand came with this little clip, and you just have to put it on the right way. Snaps right in, and that's going to protect the wire from that sharp edge of the metal. If it doesn't come with one of these, then you'll have to buy the little connector. It's only it's like 50 cents at the store, so make sure you install that. Strip off what you don't need of the insulation. You're going to want to make sure that the insulation comes all the way into the box. Then we're going to strip our wires. And then match up the colors. It's really easy. Black to black. All the blacks go in the same connector. All the whites go in the same connector. And this particular clip is just a push-in style. You just push it in and it grabs. And that's all you need. Shove all that into the box without breaking stuff. Now we need to fasten that just with a couple drywall screws. Fasten that to the joist. So we'll shove that up there and screw that on. And once you have it mounted, close the lid, and then we can hook up our light. Alright, the last thing to do with this box before you get it all settled in is to change this setting on the side. It goes from, this particular one goes from 2700K to 5000K. And that refers to the temperature of the light. So I'm going to set that to 5000 and get that all situated onto the joist. So box is secured to the joist. Just screw that connector together, and then we're going to lost it. Press these springs up, let those go in first, and then just push it up into the hole, and those springs will grab on. Here it went. Snagging on some metal or something. There you go. Boom! That couldn't be easier. Oh yeah. Okay, battery's dying, gotta do this quick. This light's got 2 wires instead of 1, because it's, because. So it's the same as that one. Strip the wires, shove it through, hook all the blacks together, hook all the whites together. It's really easy. One thing that's kind of unfortunate, but it's just got to be done, I have to uninstall this ceiling fan to get to it. I've got about 30 seconds left on my camera battery, so let's just skip to the end. So, there's lots of ways to wire a fan. The way I like to do it is to run it to the switch first, then go from the switch to the fixture. That way if you ever need to work on the fixture, you don't need to go hunting for what breaker it's on. You just turn the light off, and then you can do your work and move on with your day. The switch is off, and this is still hot. So, and there's all these other kinds of wires, like, what is that wire? Anyway, we have our new wire, so we're just gonna hook this black to that black, that white to that white. Hook everything together, hook the fan together, all right here, shove it up in the box, and all the lights will work on the switch. Now I gotta go hunt down the breaker that turns that off, and then I'll kill that light. So no more filming in the light. I don't have shop lights or anything. It sucks. Okay, so got the breaker off, but now you can't see what I'm doing because I don't have flashlights or anything. So we're gonna work in the dark for a little bit. All right, now we find out if I should have hired a professional. Oh, it works! It works! Uh-oh. There's a mistake. Except I'm tethered, so look at this one. It's nice and bright and kind of like a sunlight color. It's nice and white. This one over here is nice and orange. I forgot to flip the switch on that one to change the temperature. So we're going to pull that down and change it. There we go. Now it's nice and white, just like the other ones. Easy. The lighting is so much better in here now, way better for production value and making YouTube videos. So I hope you like this video. Catch us on the next one. Subscribe and click that notification bell. We come out with a new video on the 1st of every month. See you next time.